more news coming on the same front. We're now learning that German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called for Russia's aggression against Ukraine to be made economically unviable, asserting that the war will not end until Moscow faces significant economic pressure. Speaking at a local party summit in Bonn, Merz emphasized Europe's unity in responding to the crisis, highlighting the collaborative efforts with EU leaders and US President Donald Trump. Merz also stressed Germany's leadership role in Europe, pointing to NATO's reformed defense policy and Germany's increased contributions. He reiterated that European security is inseparably linked to Germany's foreign policy, warning that without a strong Europe, domestic challenges will remain unresolved. Let's listen into what he had to say before we bring back Mr. Andrew Latham.
Wir bemühen uns intensivst auf allen Wegen, das Ende dieses schrecklichen Krieges herbeizuführen. Aber alle Bemühungen der letzten Wochen sind beantwortet worden mit einer noch aggressiveren Vorgehensweise dieses Regimes aus Moskau gegen die Bevölkerung in der Ukraine. Und das wird auch so lange nicht aufhören, bis wir nicht gemeinsam dafür gesorgt haben, dass Russland diesen Krieg zumindest aus wirtschaftlichen Gründen, vielleicht auch aus militärischen Gründen, jedenfalls aus wirtschaftlichen Gründen, nicht länger führen kann. Wir sind vollkommen geschlossen dort in dieses Gespräch gegangen. Wir haben das intensivst vorbereitet. Es gab an keiner Stelle irgendeine Abweichung von der gemeinsamen Auffassung, wie wir etwa mit dem Ukraine-Krieg umgehen, wie wir mit Russland umgehen, was wir jetzt gemeinsam zu tun haben. Und ich nehme das mal selbstbewusst für mich in Anspruch. Wenn der deutsche Bundeskanzler diese Arbeit nicht leistet, die Europäer zusammenzuhalten und gerade in einer solchen Frage von Krieg und Frieden dafür zu sorgen, dass es Geschlossenheit gibt auf der europäischen Ebene, wenn der deutsche Bundeskanzler das nicht macht, dann macht es sonst niemand in Europa, liebe Freundinnen und Freunde. Und deswegen ist das der Auftrag, den ich genauso.
Interesting. Mr. Andrew Latham back with us on the broadcast. Mr. Latham, I want to understand from your perspective, with the EU hoping to now unite in its efforts to make the war in Ukraine economically unviable for Russia, what exactly does that mean? Because we've seen that sanctions have had very little impact.
Yes, sanctions have had very little impact because Europe, and especially Germany, are heavily dependent on Russian oil and gas. So this, if Chancellor Merz is serious, this is a substantial pivot. Maybe Europe now will get serious about minimizing the flow of revenue to Russia via various backdoors and alternate channels that is allowing President Putin to perpetuate this war. He needs income. And he's finding income not just from India, which of course has made the news in India and in Washington, but more to the point, he's making a lot of money off China, and he's making a lot of money off the Europeans, and that's financing his war. So it's clear that India is not going to change its policy. It's clear that China is not going to change its policy when it comes to acquiring Russian oil and gas. And that leaves the Europeans in a position, perhaps, if they can get their act together internally, to tip the balance and to increase the pressure on the Putin administration to bring this war to at least a ceasefire, if not a permanent end.
Right. Mr. Latham, stay on with us. We have more news coming in. Ukraine has opened a murder investigation after former parliamentary speaker